الرحيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين وأصلي وأسلم على رسوله الكريم محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين وبعد أحييكم إخواني وأخواتي وأقول أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم إلى دروسنا في اللغة العربية. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اليوم درسنا 21. درسنا اليوم درسنا 21. Our lesson today is lesson 21. And it is customary whenever before we delve into a new topic, we will do a quick recap of what we have done in the previous class. So for the previous class, we were looking at the conjugation of the triliteral verb, the verb that we were looking at, al-fi'l al-thulathi, al-mujarrad. Mujarrad means it doesn't have any extra letters in it, all right? And it is thulathi, three letters, all right? And we are looking at the conjugation in the imperfect tense, all right? So the imperfect tense, of course, it refers to either the simple present tense or the present continuous tense or the future tense. It could mean any one of the three of them. So we looked first of all basically at the verb, which looks like this. And we said that there are three different ways in which the verb appears in the Arabic language. All right? So it is either fa'ala or fa'ila or fa'ula. All right? So the difference between the three combinations is that the middle letter could either have a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma. Here is also a fatha, my mistake. For the letters, the first and the last letter, they have fatha. So if you were to check all of the existing words in the Arabic language, and there are three letters, the three-letter verbs, that is, they would look like this. All right? Either with three fathas, or a fatha and a kasra and a fatha, and a fatha, dhamma, and fatha. So the first letter has fatha, the last one has fatha. It's just the middle one could either be a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma. All right? And then we said, if you're looking to conjugate the verb, and we were looking at the conjugation of the first one, which is this one, then the first one has three different you could say styles or cases or scales, okay? So basically, this in the imperfect tense could look like this. All right, so yaf alu, where the fatha is maintained. All right? The fatha remains as a fatha. And for the second one, all right, it could change, the fatha could change to a kasra, or it could change to a dhamma. All right? The reason or the cause for the change, there is no reason and there is no cause. All right? So if you come across any verb looking like this with three fathas, by looking at the verb, you would not be able to determine and to say for sure which one of the three your imperfect tense is going to be like. You will have to be told what is the imperfect tense, the present tense, and then you will have to just learn it off like that. Okay? So that's how it's going to be. So then after we have understood this part of it, then we looked at the table, right? And the table is a table that you're familiar with, where we have al-mufrad, and so we were conjugating the verb dhahaba. All right, dhahaba. That's the verb we're conjugating. And we said the imperfect tense will be yadhhabu. And this is a short way of remembering how the present tense is. So we have al-mufrad. Let me write this in a different color. So that's like the heading. All right. Al-mufrad, al-muthanna, and al-jam'. Right? Al-mufrad means the singular. Al-muthanna, dual. Al-jam' the plural. All right? And then we have here the verb, and it is yadhhabu. All right? And we want to highlight the first letter that was added to the verb, which is the ya. All right? So it is yadhhabu. 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 With a dhamma here at the end. Okay? So the fatha changes to a dhamma. All right? There is a ya. And this is for masculine. All right? And then the feminine, to differentiate the feminine from the masculine, the ya is just changed to a ta. Okay? So we will say Muhammad yadhhabu, and we will say Khadija tadhhab. All right? Tadhhabu. Muhammadun yadhhabu, Khadijatu tadhhabu. So this is that. And both of them, they are al-ghaib. Al-ghaib. Al-ghaib means the absent. In the English grammar, it is referred to the third person. All right? It's called the absent because you're talking about someone who may not necessarily be around. You know, you're talking about somebody. That's why it is called ghaib. All right? And then we look for the second person, which will be ta. All right? And ta again. So all of the conjugation for the second person, they all begin with ta. So you'll remember that. Okay? All of the conjugation for the second person, they begin with the letter ta. So we have here, and what you would also notice is that this conjugation here for the feminine absent third person is exactly the same as the second person. All right? This is masculine and this is feminine. Okay? And we have here, so we have tadhhabu. Okay? Tadhhabu. So tadhhabu. These two are the same. You put a circle there. So remember that. And then for the feminine is tadhabina. Tadhabina. And perhaps we may want to write this in red. All right. So we can see the extra letters right there. So the zal and the ha and the ba, that's the verb itself. All right. And all the red will be the additional letters. So you would need to know what the additional letters are, okay, when you're conjugating a verb. Tadhhabina. So you will say anta, you. You're talking to a male person. Tadhhabu. Hal tadhhabu, are you going? All right? Question. Hal tadhhabu, are you going? So you're talking to a male person. And if you are addressing a female, hal tadhhabina? Hal tadhhabina ila al-madrasati ghadan? Hal tadhhabina ila al-madrasati yawm al-thulatha, for example, and so on, right? So you could add in what other words you want to add in to make it whatever you want to say. And then for the first person, you add an alif with a fatha. All right? So these are the additional letters that you have to add. So be adhabu. All right? So this is the speaker, all right, could either be a male person or a female. All right? So this one is al-mukhatab. Al-mukhatab. All right? Al-mukhatab means the one you're addressing, which is basically you. All right? You. One word in the English language, you, for all of these that will be coming here. Right? 6 of them. One word. But the Arabic language is more specific and more precise. So I could be watching so, like in this direction, but I'm talking to 2 male on this side or 2 female on that side, because of the words, how I'm saying it. All right? Because of the precision in the language. So, yadhhabu, tadhhabu, tadhhabu. Now, someone might say, well, this could be confusing. All right? How would I know whether it is, I'm talking about female or this? It can be, there can never be any confusion in this, because this is a person right in front of you. All right? You're speaking to the person. All right? And if there seemed to be a confusion, then you would know whether it is the second person or the third person based on the context in which the word was used. All right? Supposing you were talking about, did she go? Or is she going? All right? Hal tadhhabu Fatima? You're talking, and then you're talking to a male person. And are you going to? So you would know. All right? Hal tadhhabu Fatima? Wa tadhhabu anta aydan? Wa tadhhabu aydan? And you going to? So you will know it from the context. All right? And how it is spoken. All right? Because this one is in front of you and this one is right away. Now, you would remember for the dual form for the noun, all right? We said that if you want to make something dual, you take this singular noun and you add an alif and a noon to the end. Example, walad, 2 boys will be waladan. 2 books, 2 pens, 2 chairs, kursiyan, kursiyan. So, interestingly, for the muthanna, when this is a verb now, all right, for the verb, there is also an additional alif and nun to the end for two. All right? Alif and nun coming to the end. And this is feminine, this is going to have a ta here. All right? So basically, you just put in the three letters. All right? And then we have the vowel. Taz, taz, ha, ha, ba, ni, right? So if you're looking across this way, from the singular, to make it dual, an alif and nun, two letters were added to the singular to make it dual. So يذهبان محمد وخالد يذهبان إلى المسجد الآن. محمد وخالد يذهبان إلى المسجد الآن. What that means? They are going to the masjid now, right? So, and notice, you have to remember the nominal sentence and the verbal sentence. So if your sentence begins with the noun, then the conjugation of the verb will also have to agree. But that same sentence, if you were to switch it to a verbal sentence, all right, so that means the sentence will begin with the verb. The verb will remain in the singular form. So you will say, يذهب محمد وخالد إلى المسجد الآن. We would not say يذهبان. Okay? So you have to be also remember your rules. For the verbal sentence, the verb is always in the singular form, regardless of the number of the noun. Muhammadun, right? So if you say يذهب محمد وخالد, right? وفاطمة وخديجة وشكير. Yeah, all of them, يذهب, because it's a verbal sentence, singular. If we have a mixture of male and female, all right, it's يذهب. Okay? And then on this one here, for the plural, al-jam', we have the additional letter, which is the same ya. So notice the ya is maintained. For the masculine, all right, the ya is maintained here. Ya, ya, and ya. Okay? And coming here. So let's look. Yad. And we have here now a waw and a noon. And the noon has a fatha. And the waw, the ba has a dhamma. All right? So it is يذهبون. All right? يذهبون. Put this in red. يذهبون. يذهبون, we didn't talk really about plurals in terms of nouns. We didn't address that topic as a separate topic with plurals, singular and plural. But you have many nouns, the way how the plural is formed. All right, so like, look at this very quickly. You have plural, all right, and you have two types. So you have what is called a broken plural, all right, and then you have this one is called yes, song. I was trying to remember the word song. Ahsan, shukran, thank you. A song, the plural. So the broken plural is when the noun itself, you know, it's broken up. The word itself is broken up. For example, like you have the word qalam, right? qalamun. But the plural for qalam is aqlam. So you see that the word is broken up, like to a different word. Okay? But for the sung plural, right, the sung plural, the singular is intact. All right? It's not trouble, it's not broken up. So for example, let's say you have for masculine and you have for feminine. So we look at masculine. For example, you have the word Muslim. All right? Muslimun. And if you want the plural, it is the same singular word. All right? And then you have a waw and a noon. So it's Muslimuna. All right? Muslimuna. And the feminine like Muslimatun, Muslimatun, and so on. All right? So why I'm talking about this is because I want to draw your attention to and look at the relationship of the plural, and there is the plural. So it follows, both of them have the same kind of pattern, all right, for the plural. All right, so yadhhabuna, all right, yadhhabuna means they are going. So yadhhabuna. And this one here, and we have a noon here with a fatha and a sukun before. All right, so it is yadhhabna. Yadhhabna. You would notice that the ta for the feminine, the ta here, but here it changed. It changed to a ya. So it's not tadhhabna, it's yadhhabna. All right? So the reason now why it is yadhhabna is because if you were to compare this one with this one, the ending is different. We spoke about this noon briefly sometime before. We said this is called the feminine noon. And this feminine noon always has a fatha above it. And before it, there is always a sukun. All right? There is always a sukun before. So it's yadhhabna. And then, as I have told you before, for the second person, all right, the second person, we have the same thing looking like this, all right? But now to differentiate between the third person, differentiating between the third person and the second person, this one has a ta. So this is tadhhabna. All right? So tadhhabna. Tadhhabna. Okay? So notice the difference between this one and this one. So you could understand, right, why the ta was not maintained here is because there have to be a differentiation between the third person and the second person. If this had the ta, then we'll have an issue here to deal with this one. All right? Now, across here, this is the same as that. So we could say that these three, they are the same. So if you're addressing two people, two males, you will say tadhhabani. All right? هل تذهبان إلى المدرسة? Are you going to school? All right? If you're talking to two female, it's the same thing. تذهبان. So basically, the three of them, they are the same. And we already know from before that for the first person, there is no dual form. But for the plural, it will have a noon with a fatha. All right? So it will be nadhhabu. And that's basically the conjugation of the verb. This is like a template. You could use this like a template. For any verb, you do it the same way by adding these extra letters at the beginning of the verb, and then this one has some extra letters at the end. And these here, they have at the beginning and the end, okay? So you have to memorize them. The only issue that you will have is the middle letter. All right? Sometimes it may carry a fatha, other times it may carry a kasra, and other times it may have a dhamma. For different verbs, not the same verb, different verbs. All right? So different verbs have different, the middle letter could change. Either maintains the fatha or it changes to a kasra. So adhabu. From this, you could formulate your sentences. All right? You want to ask a question, you just say, hal. Are we going? Hal nadhhabu ila al-masjid. Are we going to the masjid? Hal nadhhabu ila al-masjid. All right? You could make questions by using hal. Hal tadhhabu ila so and so. All right? And then you could negate the verb. No, I'm not doing whatever the verb is. You just say la. All right? So la yadhhabu means he is not going. All right? La yadhhaban, the two of them not going. All right? La yadhhabun, they are not going. La. So la negates all of them. All right? La negates all of these. And then we also said for the imperfect tense, all right? The imperfect tense, which is called in Arabic al-mudari', al-mudari'u, all right? Al-mudari' could mean one out of three things. All right? It could either mean the simple present tense, or the present continuous tense, or the future. All right? Simple present tense. So if we are using this, if we are talking about the word dhahaba, all right? There are three different ways we could look at the imperfect tense. For yadhhabu, let's say we are looking at the word yadhhabu. So yadhhabu, could mean goes, or it could mean going, or it could mean will go. All right? So it could mean this, or this, or this. This is what is called the simple present tense. And this one, present continuous tense. And this is the future tense. So this one word here, yadhhabu, could mean all of them. All right? what is going to help me to know when the verb yadhabu means goes, or going, or will go, are some other words in the sentence. These are called helping words. All right? So if you have in your sentence the word kulla, which means every, all right? And after that you have some other words, like you can have the word sana, which means year, sana, year. You could have shahar, which means what? Huh? Month. All right? Usbu, week. All right? Day, yaum. Hour, saa. All right? Daqiqa, minute. Thaniya, second. All right? So if you want to say kulla sana, every year, kullu shahr, kullu usbu, kullu yawm, kullu saa, kullu daqiqa, kullu thaniya. This word here, kulla, every, is a word that will tell me it is the simple present tense. Adhabu ila al-umrah kulla sana. All right? Adhabu ila San Fernando kullu shahr. All right? Or adhabu ila Canada kullu shahr. All right? So I go. So adhabu, I go. Is yadhabu, he goes. So yadhabu Muhammad, yadhabu Muhammadun ila al-umrah kullu sana. Muhammad goes for umrah every year. It is not Muhammad is going. So how am I going to know? So you understand, you use any one of these words with this, okay? It will mean the simple present tense. But if you want to know if it is present continuous, like now, all right, you will have a word like this. Al-an. Al-ana means now. Halan. Halan also means now. Right? Halan or al-an. So it will mean this is going. And if it is for the future tense, you will have either the word sawfa coming before the verb. It will mean will go. All right? So sawfa. Sawfa yadhhab. He will go. All right? And if you don't want to use sawfa, you use seen and then the verb. And the seen is attached. Sayadhhabu. Sayadhhabu means he will go. So these are helping words now to determine whether it is a simple present tense, present continuous, or the future tense. All right, and there is one way to say it. You all understand? Hal fahimtum? All right, can you raise this now? And those of you who are viewing online, all right, I remember one person said, I erased it too fast. Just pause the video, all right? Pause the recording, and inshallah you get it. All right? نعم. The masculine plural for what? Al-Mukhatab. I didn't put it. Oh. Now you're telling me I didn't put it. Okay, no problem, sorry. So, we forgot the masculine plural conjugation for second person, which is called al-mukhatab. All right? Masculine plural. So, second person, we said all of the second person is what? Ta. All right? And then we have right? So it will be tadhhabuna. 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 All right? Anyone else? We forgot anything else? Okay. All right. So let's look at a few verbs, and then we look at the Quran. So we have the verb dakhala, which means to enter. The imperfect tense is yadkhulu. Yadkhulu. Dakhala, yadkhulu. So the Dhamma here means that the kha will take a Dhamma in the imperfect tense by following the same pattern. All right? So we have wa, all right? Right? So we could, I guess we could recognize some words here. So we have wa and ra'aita. All right, ra'aita. So the verb is ra'a. This is the verb here, ra'a, which means to see. So ra'aita, you see. An-nasa, mankind. And you notice also, an-nasa, why is it in the accusative case? Why is there a fatha on the sin and not a dhamma or a kesra? Because it is the object of this verb. And you see, what do you see? An-nas. All right? And then we have yadkhuluna. So from dakhala, the third person, plural, because it's mankind here, plural, a lot of people. Yadkhuluna. What it means? Entering. All right? Yadkhuluna. So you have dakhala, and then you have the ya, the additional ya. All right? The ya that we talk about, the additional, and then the waw here, and the noon. So you have dakhala, yadkhulu. يدخل الناس, right? يدخلون. Now, fi, what means fi? In. Dinillah. Right? The deen of Allah. And afwaja means in crowds. Right? In crowds. Okay? Nice. So, that's good. Can you recognize? So abada means to worship. So la a'budu would mean what? Huh? I do not worship. I don't worship. Ma, what? Ta'abudun. You, all of you people. Ma ta'abudun. Alright? That same surah, if you look at the surah, Suratul Kafirun, you will have the conjugation of the verb in the imperfect tense, and you also have in the perfect tense. Wala a'budu ma abattum. Wala ana abidun ma abattum. All right, let's look at that. Wala ana abidun ma abattum. All right, wala ana abidun ma abattum. So abidun, what abidun means? Huh? Can you remember when I said sometime before in one of the previous classes that if you take the verb and you add an extra alif after the first letter, you get the active participle, you get the noun? So abidun means a worshipper, right? And a worshipper is different from one who is now worshiping. Worshipper means that the person is, that attribute of worshiping is continuous. It is an attribute that is continuously with the person. All right? So it's like different, like from the verb here. So the deeper you look into the ayah, you will see it in a different light. So it's actually negating, the Prophet, peace be upon him, is actually negating that he was never ever, even in the past, nor present, nor in the future, all right, a worshipper of what? Abadtum will be what? What you worshipped. All right, he is negating it completely. So we know the meanings of all of the words, and I not a worshipper, what you worshipped. All right, this is the perfect tense, imperfect tense. All right. Lakum dinukum, for you. Dinukum, your deen, your religion. Wali, and for me, deen. Dini. Waliya deen. Right? It's waliya dini. All right. If you look at the last ayah of that surah, it has wa liya. It has a kasra there. All right. But this kasra is really an indication that there is an omitted ya, which is the possessive pronoun, my religion. So it's a form of brevity, all right? And the Quran uses that a lot, okay, in different places. All right, so waliya dini, waliya din. It doesn't have the ya. It just have the kasra. The kasra, just the kasra is an indication of the omitted ya. Right? That's what is called balagha. Right? Balagha is rhetoric and technical terms. The Quran that's where all of the Arabic grammar has been derived from. All right? So you will see lots of things in the Quran where we have lots of examples of the rules that we talk about. All right? Okay. So we will suffice with that for now. Okay, I'll read from this book. I'll read from this book today. Here is a conversation between two individuals. I think it is for Al-Hayatul Yawmiyah. All right? So your daily life, your routine, what you do on a daily basis. So it's between Tariq and Tahir. Tariq is asking, Mata tastayqiz? Mata means when. And it is written like this, Alif Maqsura. Mata. It is an interrogative particle. It is used to ask question. When. Do not confuse this word when with the other types of when. Like you can have when, which is a conditional word. All right? That's a different word you're going to use. And then it could be used also as a conjunction, like that's a different when again. I saw him when he came. That's when. But it's not an interrogative particle. So when you're asking a question for when, only then you use this word, mata, when you're asking a question. All right? Ja'a rajulun, let me see if you all could understand. Ja'a rajulun ila nabiyyi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ja'a means what? رجل إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وقال متى الساعة يا رسول الله قال he said, who said? The Prophet peace be upon him said, ماذا أعددت لها? What did you prepare for it? What have you prepared for it? قال, the man said, ما أعددت لها من كثرة صلاة أو صيام. I did not prepare for it by doing extra salah and siyam, fasting. ولكني أحب الله ورسوله. لكني, but I أحب الله ورسوله. قال, he said, Allah, the Prophet peace be upon him said, أنت, you, ma'a means with. Man ahbabt, with whom you love. All right. Okay. Mata tastayqiz. Let me write this word here. Tastayqiz. When you're writing Arabic, you have to try not to up and down, up and down. You just go the whole thing right down to the end. Right? And then when you're doing the shorthand, it's even different and faster. So it's Tai, and then you put in, you know, all the vowels and so on. And if it's the other style, it go like this. Tas, tai, qiz. It go like this, but not. Right? Different. All right. So mata tastayqiz. Why did I write this word here? Is because I want you to notice this ta is when you're addressing a person, you. Just like what we did just now, tadhhab. So when you're addressing someone, right, that is the second person, when you're talking to somebody, right, and you're using the imperfect tense, you start with a ta. So no matter how long the verb is, this is a long verb. It comes from the verb istayqaza, which is a different verb which we didn't do those verbs as yet, and we will not be doing those verbs with extra letters in this module. All right, when we resume our classes after October, the month of October, when we resume our classes, then we'll move on to those verbs. But I only wrote this word for you to see and to bring out this point to you. Mata tastayqizu. When do you wake up? When do you wake up? All right? Mata tastayqiz. He said, astayqizu. And when it is I, you have an alif. All right? So it will be astayqizu. All right? Astayqizu. So you have the alif for I, and that's you. This one is you, and this is I. All right? If you could remember that part alone, you're going good. All right? For I is I, ah, and it's for you, ta, and the remaining. Astayqidhu 'inda al-fajr. What that means? I wake up at Fajr time. All right? Aina tusalli. Sometimes the ta may take a dhamma, and that is because of the verb that we are not doing as yet. All right? Some verbs like you might have a dhamma instead of fatha, but the main thing is to have a ta. All right? Ta fatha or ta dhamma. Basically, that's what it is for the second person, you. So he says, Aina tusalli al-fajr. Aina tusalli al-fajr. What that means? Where do you pray fajr? Usalli, I. So it's either fatha or dhamma. Usalli al-fajr fil masjid. All right? Hal tanamu, tanam, that means sleep. All right? So it has its ta again, ta, and then this is the verb, nam, sleep. All right? هل تنام بعد الصلاة؟ لا، لا أنام بعد الصلاة، لا أنام بعد الصلاة. ماذا تفعل بعد الصلاة؟ ماذا تفعل? What do you do? فعل means to do. ماذا تفعل? What do you do? بعد الصلاة. أقرأ القرآن. أقرأ القرآن. ومتى تذهب إلى المدرسة؟ أذهب الساعة السابعة. 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 I go at سابعة 7 o'clock. هل تذهب بالسيارة؟ هل تذهب بالسيارة؟ لا أذهب بالحافلة. لا. He said لا, and then he said أذهب بالحافلة. This is his answer. He said لا, and then he said أذهب بالحافلة. حافلة. Now, if you do not pause between the verb and la, it will change the meaning. So you have to pause here, you have to stop. So the la is an answer to the question he asked. You say la, pause, and then you say adhabu bil. So you're negating. Do you go with car? La, no. And now you're stating where you're going with. Adhabu bil hafila. But if you did not pause, what it means? I do not go with bus. I do not go by bus. La adhabu bil hafila. So that is how important a pause is sometimes. All right? A pause is very important. Okay. We're going to spend the remaining of the time now to read from the book, Dr. Abdur Raheem's book. And we have switched from the new print back to the old print. And there is a reason for that. For the beginning of the course, I wanted it to be easy for you. Easy. But we are switching back here now because, as I told you before, the new print has defeated the purpose of many of the exercises that were mentioned in the book. One, exercises, if you would notice, in the old version, the vowels have been omitted from many of the words. All right? And there was a reason for that. It is to get the students accustomed to read Arabic without vowels. Because Arabic normally is written without vowels. Okay? Arabic, all magazines, all newspapers, all books, textbooks and so on, they're normally written without vowels, no vowels. The only time the vowels will be put in is if, for example, there is a quotation from the Quran to make sure that people read it correctly. Or if there is a word that is not really an Arabic word, all right, and they want you to pronounce it properly, then they might put in the vowels. But other than that, the words are not written with the vowels. All right? So far, you should be able to read certain words. All right? Certain words. Let me look right here at page 61. All of you have who are on the group, who have registered on the group, right? On the group, you would notice that a few pages were posted for you to, to follow what I'm talking about. All right? So we have here this. We have something looking like this. All right, no vowels. So you have learned previously this word. This word here basically has, for you at this level, has two combinations. What are they? Man and min. Okay? So this could either be man or it could be min, right? But which one are you going to use? Are you going to use man or min? Here, and do we have fi here? Fi means in. So are we going to say who in? Or are we going to say from in? Are we going to say min fi from in? That doesn't sound right. All right? We can't say min fi. So then we will know this word is man and not min. So I would say this many times in class, what I'm going to say now. Arabic, reading Arabic without vowels is about reasoning. It's like maths. Maths. Reasoning. All right? So we have man, fi, hadhal, bait. What vowel should I put for this ta? You have to know all of that. Tell me. Kesra. Why? Because there is a preposition here. All right? Man fi hadhal bait. It's a question. All right? Man fi hadhal bait. So if you want all of the vowels, man fi hadhal bayti. All right? So that's the first one. Fihi hamid. Fihi hamidun. The next one is read for me. Mada. Should we say fill or sukun here, right? Because this is a sun letter or moon letter? Moon letter, right? So the lam must be pronounced. Mada fill ha qi ba tu ti because of fi. Question. We want to say in it is what exactly the book says. My book, my pen, and my notebook. In it. How are you going to say in it? In it. Huh? Fiha. All right? Fiha. In it. Because feminine noun. All right? So ha. If it was a masculine noun, it would have been fi, he. So fiha kitabi wa qalami wa daftari. All right? So my textbook, my pen, my notebook. All right? Okay, the next one, what does it look like? Skipping one because I want to, because of time. It looks like this. You know the words? So we already established when you have a preposition here, you can't have a next preposition, two prepositions coming together. So man, fi, masjid, dil, ja, mi, a, ti. Mudaf in life. First noun, second noun. Second noun always in the genitive case. First noun is in the genitive case because of preposition. Al-ana. Translate. Who is in the university masjid? Masjid of the university. Now. All right? Oh boy, time gone already. Okay, so I want you all to practice the reading from the old version now. So you will have copies of the pages and notice the lessons, the exercises are written without vowels. Do not put in the vowels. Learn to read it without the vowels. And learn to read it all the time without the vowels. Every time without the vowels. Don't put in the vowels. So when you're going back and you're revising, learn to read it without the vowels. And when you're reading, try to read aloud, all right? Because you also have to speak. Not in your mind, but you have to speak, right? So you have to speak, read it aloud, inshallah. Some of you, sometimes you give me your homework And some of you, you give me a written homework and you also give me a voice. That is great, right? So I hope, inshallah, you all could continue with doing that. So then I have to give you homework. I have to give you homework. Why don't you find for me, from the Quran, all right, 10 verbs, any part of the Quran, but you must state the reference, all right, that are in the imperfect tense form. Give me the reference, all right? And we are talking about verbs that are triliteral, 3 letters only, all right? The triliteral verb without the extra letters. Only those types of verbs. I know some students, what they're doing, I think they're looking at the English and they see a verb and they copy it. They give me the Arabic of it, all right? That doesn't work, that's not working. And I know when students do that, all right? Because they're talking about verbs that we didn't do in class. Your homework is always based on something that we did in class, all right? So we're looking at only examples that are triliteral, 3-letter verbs. But it could have the conjugation, all right? But it must be in the imperfect tense, like what we did tonight. All right, 10 examples, and make sure you write the reference, which surah, what is the number of the chapter of the Quran, and what is the number of the verse, and underline the word that you're highlighting. All right, that is how the homework has to be. Okay, that's it for today. Jazakumullah khairan. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum.